Good morning, friends, and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I hope that you're having a good start to March. It's actually mid-March by now. February was just kind of a write-off for me. I was sick for the whole month. I was sick and just didn't feel like picking up my camera. But I got very behind on my seed starting plan, and so I'm trying to make up some days right now. So that's why I'm out here this morning. I'm going to be starting some more chamomile, or I didn't start chamomile, but I tried to start some in the garden, but I think the birds may have ate them, and that's probably my fault because I didn't protect them. But anyways, I want to start some chamomile, and what else? Let's see. I'm starting some dill and some tarragon and some cilantro, and then zinnias today as well. And I do have lettuce on the plan, but I ended up planting some lettuce seeds out there, and then I also have greens in these trays next to me that I'm starting to harden off today. I have mustard and dino kale, so lacinato kale. And then I've also got some lettuce starts upstairs. I've also upstairs got my tomatoes started and my peppers started. Some of them have germinated and some of them have not. So I may have to think about that. I think my cayenne seeds are too old because they have not sprouted yet, but sometimes they can take a little longer, so I'm just keeping them up there. I have a new setup with some new grow lights and a new shelf, and it's just been really fun having them inside where my cat cannot top them because he loves to do that sometimes. Today I really have no plans. I was going to feed my sourdough starter. I was able to cook or bake for the first time with it in February, which is really fun, but I haven't since, so I'm gonna discard some and feed it today so that hopefully this weekend I can make some more loaves, and then maybe some sourdough pancakes with the discard. That sounds really good. And then I really need to clean out our refrigerator. It's embarrassing how gross it is, and the kitchen just needs a quick clean. And so I might bring you along for that. I'm not really sure what this video might be a little all over the place. There's a lot of stuff that I need to get caught up with. It sucks being sick for that long, but I'm feeling really good. And I do want to show you, I put some compost in one of the raised beds, and I've started some carrots and some radishes, some chamomile, and lettuce, like I said, and then bunching onions. And yeah, but there's some stuff, there's also so much that needs to be cleaned up, so much weeding that I haven't done yet, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to rain for a long time after today, so I might do that too. I might bring you along for that, but who knows. But just come along with me today and see what we get up to. So here's the first raised bed. I added about 4 bags of compost to the top here. It needs to be smoothed out a little bit more in this area, but I haven't planted anything in this area, so I'm not sure what I'm going to put there this year. I did have tomatoes there last year, so I think I might want to try to switch something out. But my one cabbage is doing great. The other one is looking a little small, but he's still going. He's just not as big as that one. But I planted some bunching onions along here, and then this is this area where I tried to do some chamomile seeds, but I don't see any, and there's been no germination, and they tend to germinate really quickly, so I'm gonna try to start some inside. And then in this little area here, I planted a little bit of lettuce, and then over here I have 2 rows of carrots and 3 rows of radishes. And I haven't seen any germination on those yet. Let's see. Oh, maybe. There's that. I think that's a little radish sprout coming up. So that's really exciting. And I don't see any more. But that's really an exciting thing. And then also I wanted to come over here and show you. Last year I planted a hellebore and it didn't really do anything, it just had leaves. But this year it finally bloomed, and this isn't at its peak, but how beautiful. I love these. And I think next year I'm gonna get more. But this guy, gorgeous. It's so beautiful. This guy needs to be cut down a little bit. And then over here, I've got broccoli growing from the fall, and that red Russian kale plant is looking really good. It was touch and go for a little while. There's a smaller one next to it here, and then there's some more broccoli that isn't looking great, so I might just be taking those out. My Swiss chard over here is looking good, and then my parsley, I think it's done for the year. So I'm gonna need to chop that down and drop it, and then I think at the beginning of April I'm gonna be getting more compost for this bed to top it off, and then get some more compost for this raised bed over there by the fence. That's where I'm going to be planting my sweet peas. And then we've got my chives coming in, and I showed you a little earlier my garlic chives are coming in too. Lots of weeding to do. And then this year I want to come through and like kind of cut in. There used to be a border here between the grass and the flower bed, or the raised bed. As you can see, it's kind of gotten away from me, so I'm gonna try and reestablish the border and get all the grass out of here. There's also some bulbs in here, so I have to be careful with that. So it might not be until the end of summer that I do that, so that I know where all the bulbs are. I know there's some lilies here, and I think there's some gladiolus over here by the blueberry bush, which is actually looking really good too. We've got lots of leaf buds on here, so that's really exciting. And then these daylilies, if you remember, or if you've watched any of my old videos, are from my dad's old yard, from my childhood home that he moved out of a few years ago. And they love this spot, so I'm really pleased with that. What else can I show you? Got irises from my dad's yard, and then more daylilies over here. These calendula were doing great until it snowed and frosted really hard. So I'm gonna have to get those out. This is where I'm gonna be planting my pumpkins this year again, and I have so many varieties, so stay tuned for that. See how that experiment goes. My hollyhock has seen better days, but I think it's gonna start bouncing back. My ornamental alliums here are coming back up, and then as you can see, the grass is encroaching here, so I'm gonna reestablish like a border so it's wider here, and I think I'm gonna do that in the next week or so, whenever we get another nice weather day. Spring's right around the corner, so then we have some sticks to burn, which they've been sitting out in the water, so in the rain, so I don't know, it's probably gonna not burn for a while. And then over here, we've got some snapdragons that survived the winter, so that's really exciting. I don't have to plant more of those. And then I have some onions coming up that I left in the ground. I wasn't able to harvest last year, so I'm just going to leave those for now. And then this will get topped off with compost. I've also added a bunch of what are the words I'm trying to use? Organic matter to this bed over the winter. I topped it with leaves at the end of fall, and this trellis will hopefully be covered in sweet peas this summer, and I'm really excited. And And this is just looking messy like it always does. But I like to leave the leaves because it really helps cut down on the amount of weeding in this area. But there are a bunch of sticks from this tree that's above us, and I need to get those out of there and just get it cleaned up a little bit. I have tried to do wildflowers in this area, but it's just really hard. The dandelions are relentless, and so I want to figure out something for this area because it just always looks so bare or weedy, and I would love it. Maybe put some more plants like perennials in here, see what I can do. Maybe a lavender plant back here would be really pretty. I could move one from like a different part of the yard maybe. And then the camellia over here is looking like it's ready to start blooming. The one in the front yard is blooming already, but there's all these beautiful little buds that are going to be exploding with pink in the next week or so. So I'm really excited for that. Nothing really going on back here. I chopped all these down. The hosta comes back every year, and then I'm not sure what the other plant that resides here is, but it's always so beautiful. There's some ferns coming up, and then I pruned the hydrangea bush and it's getting its leaves, which is so exciting. This was really beautiful last year, so I'm like making extra effort to like take care of this bush, and then also the one that's over by the other raised beds. But he's kind of like under a plant, so he hasn't been doing great. And then I know that I've talked about coming through this area and trying to get all this grass out, but it's super difficult. This used to be a gravel path, and now it's just grass, so it's going to be quite a project, but hopefully I can get to it this summer. We'll see how it goes. Once everything dries out, it'll be easier to maneuver. But yeah, it's such a beautiful morning, and we're going to get some seeds started. Also, here are the seedlings that I'm starting to harden off. These are leeks. As you can see, I only got like 2 of my bunching onions here to germinate. So those were super old seeds. And then I think these fennel got a little leggy. So I might actually try and start some outdoors. We'll see how that goes. And then over here, also my dino kale and mustard, they're looking a little leggy. But I'm just gonna try it. I'm hardening them off, and then hopefully we'll get them in within the next week. And then my sweet peas are going crazy. And actually, so my cat Theo topped a few, but actually it turns out it may have been a blessing in disguise because they've branched out from where he topped them. So maybe he did me a favor. I don't know. I was keeping them in here, and then he topped them, and so then I was like, well, I need to figure something out so he doesn't do that to my tomatoes, which he has destroyed some tomatoes in the past, so don't want that. But I think I am going to put these back here and just keep my blinds down while I harden them off, so they don't have to keep taking them up and down the stairs every day. My microgreens are spent, so I need to get rid of those. I think I'm done with those for at least right now, because I've got so much other seeds that I need to start. But yeah, and little Baxter wants to come out. I've also got my strawberry pot here, and as you can see, it's kind of like the soil has really settled down. So I got another bag of potting soil, and I really need to get that filled in. I think I might buy some new strawberry plants to put in here this year. I didn't get very many strawberries out of this, but I do see, I thought I saw that their runners may have spread a little bit into over here, but I'm okay with that. I love strawberries. And then there's this is a strawberry one too. I need to get that cleaned up. And then this area really is needing a good weed. There's some snapdragons here, so I'm going to keep those, but maybe clean the plant up a little bit. There's some spent dahlia. There's calendula that needs to be taken out. I think these strawberry plants are, I think they're done. Sometimes you have to replace strawberry plants. I'm not sure what variety this is, but we're gonna get those replaced, or maybe just move them, and so I can put something else in here. And then I should start seeing a bunch of California poppies coming up in here. I've also got California poppy seeds. Did I bring them out? I don't know if I brought those out. Usually you could just sprinkle those out, and I might try and just direct sow a bunch of flowers again like I did last year. But the lupin are coming up, and then my wow, I am not good at this camera thing. I need to get back in the swing of things. My salvia, can you see it? It's there. There's some grass in front of it, but the salvia plant, I thought it was dead, but it's coming back to life, which I'm so thankful for. It's going to be so pretty there. But yeah, this area needs to be definitely cleaned up. I got some more violas, so I'm going to get those planted in here. I thought that I let seeds fall in there, but I haven't seen any germination, or I haven't seen any germination yet, and there's germination in other areas, so I bought some viola plants, so we'll see about getting those planted in there. Maybe not today, maybe today, I'm not sure. Looks like my catnip is coming back, which is really exciting, and some tarragon, my French tarragon. So I'm gonna start some today too, but I love that it came back. Really exciting. I'm going to top off this pot. It's got some oregano in it. This pot has oregano in it. It's starting to come back, which is really exciting. There's also, the oregano has seeded in here, as well as I think there's some garlic chives over here. So I'm just letting this area go wild with whatever wants to self-seed. And it's always so beautiful in the summer, especially when all the flowers are blooming. But yeah, so that's my plan for this area. So what I'm using today is this thing. I've had it for several years now. The plastic's super flimsy, but I've taken good care of it. It's seen better days for sure, and I don't love to start like tomatoes or anything in this because I have to uppot them so early. But this is perfect for herbs and perfect for zinnias, especially. I find cosmos, it's really hard in these. Last year they just got really leggy. So I think I'm going to be direct sowing cosmos. Maybe I'll try a few inside. But the cosmos did fine last year when I direct sowed them. And then I have it's perfect for herbs too, so dill and cilantro can be started, and what else? Yeah, tarragon. So that's what I'm going to do in here, and then I'll take you upstairs when I take these up, and I'll show you my new growing setup. So I'm going to turn the camera off because you've seen me start seeds a million times at this point, and then I'll see you upstairs in a little bit. So this is my new setup. I got this shelf on Amazon, and these grow lights came in a set of 6. Yeah, 6 on Amazon. They're LED, so they're not super hot. And then, so I've got what we started today under one of these, and it's on a heat mat. And then I also started some spinach here and some red sales lettuce. So I'll get a piece of plastic and put it over here. And then the light from there's a little bit of warmth, so the warmth from these should help those germinate. But as you can see, I've got some Anaheim chilies here that started. These are sweet banana peppers. I've got some jalapenos here. More sweet banana, which is exciting. That's one of our favorites. No bell peppers yet. No cayenne yet. And then down here, we've got some butter crunch lettuce that will be getting hardened off soon, and I'll put those outside. Here's some bell peppers, which is really exciting. And then more Anaheim chili. And then down here, we've got all of the tomatoes. So there's 2 pots of beef steak. I'll have to be ruthless and thin these. Some Italian Roma. None in here, and I'm wondering if I just forgot to plant any in there. But then I've got a few back there. And then some San Marzano, there's 2 of those. Some Ox Heart, there's 2 of those. And then back there's a Sun Gold, and then some sweet cherry tomatoes. So that is really exciting. And I'll probably, because I ran out of Sun Gold tomatoes, so there's 2 in there, so I'll just have to separate them and use both plants. And then same with these. We're gonna have a lot of tomatoes. I said I wasn't going to, but you know, most of the varieties are larger, so that's really exciting. But yeah, this is my setup, and it's been working really great so far. Hey guys, it's several days later. I'm trying to get back in the swing of filming things, but there's just some days out in the garden where I just want to get stuff done and not have to worry about a camera. And that includes planting out some seeds and just getting some stuff done. But today I'm out here again, and I've had my sweet peas and my leeks and my fennel hardening up, and some mustard and dino kale, or lacinato kale, hardening off. And so I really want to get these planted today. It's just really cloudy, but it's not too cold. I have my coat on, but anyway, I also have violas that I want to get planted, and I also bought 2 ever-bearing strawberry plants, and I think I'm going to put them in the top of my strawberry pot. I filled in with some more potting soil, and so I'll probably add a little bit more and rip out some of the plants that are not looking so great. But that's my plan for today, and that'll probably be it for the rest of this vlog. But I just wanted to bring you along for a little bit of planting out of the first spring plants. Spring starts tomorrow, and I'm very excited about it. So let's get these sweet peas and fennel and mustard and leeks into the ground. So this is my raised bed over by the fence, by the street, and if you've been following along for a while, I always have kind of issues with this bed. It doesn't really produce very well for me. and so I've been really trying to like add organic matter to it and get it to a place where it can produce more vegetables. As you can see, I've got some snapdragons back here, which are doing well, and there's also, looks like some onions that I forgot in here. But anyway, so today what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some steer manure. It's a steer manure blend, and then I've got some other bags of compost that I'm going to top that off with, but I want to dig in and get the steer manure added and mixed in with the soil. I've also added kitchen scraps to this over the winter and buried those, and so those should be really well composted at this point. But in an attempt to try and get it to produce more, and I'm going to plant my sweet peas along this trellis here, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, hopefully the steer manure will help, along with some bags of fresh compost in this bed. I think that's going to be it from me today. I hope that you enjoyed me taking you along for some more late winter, early spring gardening. Spring is tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that. And I'm just excited to get out here when there's warmer weather. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, as it really supports my channel. And if you like what you see and you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe, so you don't miss any more of this gardening season and whatever else I decide to share. I'm still having a little bit of trouble figuring out what else I want to share besides gardening content. I feel like my life is just average, and I don't want to bore anyone, and so I'm trying to figure out how to like make it more exciting. I'm doing trying to learn sourdough right now, and so that's been kind of fun, so I might share some more of that journey. But yeah, I hope that you're having a great day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.